Good morning and a warm welcome to you. Let us start with Egypt. It's a shocking death for Egypt, where former president, and international reaction is following. Mohammed Morsi, who was ousted by the military in the North African country in 2013, has died after fainting in a courtroom. Morsi, a former top figure in the now banned Islamist movement, Muslim Brotherhood, was in court for a hearing on charges of espionage. He was 67 years old. Morsi was ousted by the army in July 2013 following a mass protest a year after he took office as Egypt's first democratically elected leader. He had remained in custody since then.
Et continuons de parler de la mort tragique de l'ancien président égyptien Mohammed Morsi.
Amnesty International has called on the country's authorities to immediately investigate the death of the former leader, which it described as deeply shocking. The Human Rights Watch organization also reacted to the incident. Its directorate for the Middle East and North Africa took to Twitter to declare the government's failure to provide adequate medical care and limiting visits from his family members. Jerry.
Thank you. We're now being joined by our correspondent in Cairo, Egypt, Hatem Kenawi. Hatem, what a sad news it is for Egypt, especially for family and friends and supporters of the Muslim Brotherhood in general. But what more do we know about the ousted President Mohammed Morsi's death? Hatem, good morning to you first.
Good morning, and thank you so much for having me. Well, the story now is officially clear that after Egyptian Public Prosecution Office said in a statement that was released yesterday, Monday, that the former President Mohammed Morsi was attending a hearing session in a court in Cairo. He had been granted permission to speak, and he actually spoke for 5 minutes. But after he finished, he collapsed and fainted, and was in a defended cage inside the court. And after that, he was taken to the hospital, but he passed away before arriving and pronounced dead at exactly 4:50 p.m. Egyptian local time, which is 2:50 GMT, at the age of 67. The statement also added that after examining the body of Morsi, it was clear that no signs of any injuries were found. According to Morsi's lawyer, Mr. Abdel Maqsoud, who is also the lead lawyer for the Muslim Brotherhood banned party here in Egypt, Morsi's family wanted to bury him in his hometown, Sharqiya Governorate, which is located north of Egypt, and it's exactly 112 kilometers away from Cairo, the capital. However, the authorities refused. Therefore, he will be buried in Cairo, exactly in the place called Nasr City, and it will be a highly limited funeral, which is only be allowed for his family to participate, and it will gonna be within any couple hours from now.
Tell us, Hatem, how are Egyptians reacting to Morsi's death?
Well, actually, after the death, at the beginning, when the news started to appear in the social media, many people thought that it was just a rumor. However, once it was shown in the state media, a war of words started between the supporters of the ousted president and his opponents. Morsi's families and supporters raised up many questions concerning his health, and he was suffering from liver problem and diabetes, and they were focusing on how being in jail negatively affected his health. But on the other side, the authorities assured that Morsi was receiving a suitable care condition without any kind of harm, and his medical care was available for him, as Morsi was regularly examined by doctors, and they were treated him according with the law while he was in detention. The opponents of Morsi were relieved by his death, according to the posts that we could see yesterday through the social media, and also through the expressions in a number of Egyptian talk shows in private TV channels, and they blamed him with the murder of hundreds of Egyptian military and police personnel, a number of terrorist attacks that Egypt faced since 2013. After the military forced Morsi to step up, of course, after the millions of Egyptians went down in the streets to ask him to move away. At the same time, some people thought that protests might be shown in the streets, but that didn't happen at all, and Egypt was, as always, calm and going through its normal routine. However, Egyptian Interior Minister had ordered a state highly alert, state media said. Therefore, all the reaction of Morsi's death was only in social media.
And Artem, what does it mean for the judiciary moving forward? What are the authorities saying, really?
Well, let me tell you this, because actually the former President Morsi was facing about 6 trials and had been behind bars for now about 6 years, since 2013, and he was serving a 20 years prison sentence for a conviction arising from the killing of protesting during the demonstration that Egypt faced 2012. He also was serving a life sentence for espionage in a case related to cooperating with foreign countries, in addition to serving 7 years sentence for fraud related to his presidential campaign. But of course, after his death, automatically charges now are dropped. But that didn't stop the Muslim Brotherhood banned party, which he is a part of it, of course, from accusing the Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi and his regime. And they said that they are accountable for his death because, as they say, he was politically and criminally part of his death. Therefore, they are demanding an independent review into the circumstances of Morsi's death. But the authorities here in Egypt since yesterday, they didn't comment at all. And the only thing that we saw, that statement coming from the Egyptian prosecution describing what happened and the reason of the death, but anything else, it wasn't shown from yesterday. Therefore, the life is going normal. And of course, as we know, Egypt is going to start the African Cup of Nations within a couple of days, and everything is going right now. So life is going as it normally go here in Egypt.
Well, life is going as it is normally going, as you say, there in Egypt, but there are international reactions to the death. Earlier, Ruth mentioned that Sarah Leah-Whitson, of the executive director of Human Rights Watch Middle East and North Africa Division, called Morsi's death terrible but entirely predictable, given the government's failure to allow him adequate medical care, end of quote. And just as we said earlier, Amnesty International urged Egyptian authorities to investigate the death. So yes, I guess we have to wait to hear more on these circumstances. But then this is how much we can take from you, Hatem. And thank you very much for sharing with us some of what you know regarding his death. And we'll speak with you soon again.
Thank you so much.